Hey guys, Will here from Simply Airsoft, and today we're taking a look at possibly my new favorite airsoft gun, the Amoeba AM-013, or as some people like to call it, the Honey Badger. After using this airsoft gun in-game for the past few months, I can honestly say this gun performs as beautifully as it looks. This gun is clearly based off of the AAC Honey Badger, which is a fairly new carbine that was designed to replace the MP5. It shoots a 5.56 NATO round and has an integrated suppressor, and they did a great job translating this into airsoft. This gun comes in two different colors. The one I have right here is the two-tone tan. I like it much better than the other color you can get. This one is mostly dark earth, and other components of it like the integrated suppressor, the inner barrel, the iron sights, the included magazine, the pistol grip, and parts of the retractable stock are black and the rest of it is tan. You can also get one that's completely tactical black. It depends on what kind of loadout you're doing and how you like to run your guns. The upper and lower receiver of this gun are composed from an incredibly tough nylon reinforced polymer. This is really tough stuff. I don't see this breaking anytime soon. I guarantee this could probably take a few bashes on the field, even though I recommend you don't go throwing your gun around, but this can take a few bashes. There was a warning sticker right here, and that's another great thing about this gun. Most have the printed label, mostly Umarex guns, but a lot of other guns will have just a sticker, and I could peel that right off. It didn't leave any sticker residue, and now that side's nice and clear. And if we go on the flip side of the lower receiver here, we can see we have some nice Amoeba trades. There's a, I think that's a unique serial number, has the Amoeba logo, says Amoeba, and it also says NATO 5.56, and I think that's super cool and leads to the, makes this gun look a little more realistic, and we really like to see that on our airsoft guns when it says things like, you know, NATO round or 5.56, that's great. The handguard and suppressor are composed of aluminum, which keeps the weight of this gun down to a really nice 5 pounds, which isn't too heavy or too light, so you get that realistic weight, but, you know, you don't feel fatigued with, running around with this on the field for too long. The free float handguard is covered with places to put rails. When you open this gun for the first time, one of the rails should be pre-installed on the bottom, but inside the box you do get a long, medium, and short type rail, and technically you get two short type rails, just one of them is being used by one of the iron sights on the top. You may have noticed I did some changes to the gun, the way it should look when it comes out of the box. Here's what it should look when you open the gun for the first time. The hand stops should be in the front, and you should have one of the rails already installed on the bottom, and it should have the included 300 round magazine. This magazine does not come with it. This is a Magpul PTS magazine mid-cap. I really like these mid-caps. I might do a review on these at a later date, but these are really nice, and I've been using these mid-caps in this gun for the past few months of me using it. But anyway, you may have noticed that I took one of the hand stops and I moved, not only did I flip it around, but I moved it a few spaces back. Now the reason I did this was because I was experimenting with the gun when I first got it out of the box. I wasn't a fan of the way the hand stops were at the front. They were flipped the other way, and they were both at the front of the gun, so you would hold it like that. I wasn't a huge fan of that holding style, so what I did was I took the top one off and I tossed that one in a bag, and with the rest of the rest of the rails and screws, and I took the bottom one, I flipped it around, and I moved it about 2 spaces back, right underneath where the iron sight is, and I found that to be a very, very, very comfortable way to hold this gun, and it's something you can do. It gives you a grip without you needing to go pull one off of another gun if you have one, or go out and buy one if you don't have one. But it allows you to get a very good grip on the gun because you have something to pull back on. Some people like the push forward method because you're pushing forward and this hand is pushing back. But I like this because you're pulling back on it, and it gives you a really, really nice steady shot. This is how I used it in game. I used this 2 different ways. I used this way, and I have a a Stark Industry angled grip that I really, really like, and that worked beautifully with this gun. But I really, really recommend you try this out if you are thinking about getting this gun, or have it yourself. Really, take the bottom hand stop, flip it around, and see how that feels, because this is really comfortable, because it gives your finger, the way I'm holding it is my index finger is pulling back on it, and the rest of my fingers are just gripping the free float handguard, and I'm just pulling back on it, and it's a really, really steady shot. I'm not someone who shakes too much when I shoot, but it's a really, really steady shot, and I really recommend you try it out. It's just something different you could do that comes right out of the box. This being an imitation of the Honey Badger, or a M4 version of the Honey Badger, I guess you could say. It has a MP5 style stock, which looks really, really nice on the gun, and integrates well and blends well with the upper receiver. It looks really nice. Now, I bet you're wondering where the battery goes. The battery goes right back here. There's this little nub you take off. You could take this off if that makes it any easier. That comes off real easily, and there's just this little nub you remove right here, and that gives you access to your battery compartment. The connector you'll see in there will be a small Tamiya connector. Batteries I feel work the best with this gun are LiPos. You could use a, the one I used for this gun personally is a 7.4, worked just fine for me. The gun shot just fine. Feels like this gun was meant to shoot with LiPos. You could use an 8.4 nickel metal hydride, but if you really want good, really good trigger response on semi-auto, and a fast rate of fire, not an incredibly fast rate of fire, but a decent rate of fire on full auto, even though I shoot mainly in semi, I recommend using a LiPo. You could use an 11.1, but keep in mind you'd have to upgrade the motor. I shot this thing with my 11.1. I have a small 11.1 brick type, and the motor got very, very hot on both semi and full auto, so that's just a caution. If you really like to use 11.1s, you really, really like that fast rate of fire, you're going to have to upgrade the motor, because the motor can't take it. And maybe the spring guide and the spring. The spring itself is fine, so maybe just the spring guide, but the motor is something you'd really have to upgrade if you want to use an 11.1. Some guns, I know the higher end ones where you're paying a higher price for them, those guns will work with 11.1 just fine without a hiccup, but this one definitely, and the only reason I'm telling you this is because Red Wolf, which is where I pre-ordered this back in July, said in their description that you could use an 11.1 with this gun, and I said, oh, that's great. So when I got mine back in September, I stuck an 11.1 in there, and after shooting it on semi for about 5 minutes, it got very, very, very hot. And then on full auto, forget about it. It decided it didn't want to do that and was telling me, please stop, because it got very, very, very hot. So if you want to use an 11.1, and this is something I may do on a future date, because I really like this gun, I recommend you upgrade the motor. As you can tell, this gun does feature some nice flip-up iron sights. They look really, really nice, but I'm not a huge fan of these iron sights, mostly because the rear iron sight, the aperture is set to the smaller peephole. It's a smaller aperture, and you're thinking, oh, well, so what? I'll just turn it like most M4s. You can't do that. These iron sights are kind of dumb in the fact with the... you can use them, yeah, if you're a fan of the smaller peephole, but I'm not, and I like to use the bigger one. And when I tried to flip it, you can't, because the sight itself is molded onto the polymer of the bottom of the sight here. Here we'll do a close-up and show you. That's how it looks. You can tell that the bigger aperture is just molded onto the plastic. It's not meant to be moved. So if you're a fan of using iron sights with airsoft guns, you might have to put a different set of iron sights on there. Me personally, I don't use iron sights. I use the optics. I have an NC Star red dot up here. Looks really nice with the gun, but if you are a fan with using iron sights, you may have to pull one from another gun, or if you just have other iron sights laying around, stick those on, and if you don't, you might have to go get some. If you look right here, we can see that the gun has a very nice enlarged magazine release. This is really nice if you're wearing gloves or you're in the heat of combat and don't want to fiddle around for the mag release, because most M4s do have a smaller mag release that's pretty annoying to get if you are in the heat of combat and you don't want to fiddle around for something. It's right there. Just pull the mag out and put a new mag in. This is the included mag in the box with this gun. You get a 300 round high capacity magazine. It's a really, really nice high capacity magazine. I didn't have any feeding problems with it. Get a good grip on it because it has some textured parts here. It has this little handle, like a Magpul style handle. You could pull out of your vest here, so that's really nice. And as an added bonus, you do get little markings on there that say 5.56, indicating that it holds 45 rounds, and some faux bullets right here. So that looks really nice for realism with the gun, and it looks really nice with the gun, but personally, I'm just a fan of mid-caps. But if you're a fan of high caps, I recommend getting more of these kinds of mags because these are really nice mags. Internally, this gun features a fully upgradable version 2 gearbox, but this gun does come, and this is one of the features of the gun, it does come pre-installed with reinforced internals, so further upgrading, aftermarket upgrading, may not be necessary. Like I said, I've used this gun tons of times in field for the past few months, and this gun performed beautifully. So if you're a fan of upgrading, this gun is completely open to that, but you may not need to upgrade it, is what I'm saying. Because stock, this gun is great. The way it comes out of the box, it performs beautifully. This gun also features a Ares style hop-up wheel. Most Ares guns, I'm not sure about any other guns, but I know most guns that are OEM'd or are by Ares have this style hop-up wheel where it's just the simple wheel that sticks out, and you can turn that on the fly, and it's really easily. Like I said in my last review, I like it way better than the gear type where you really have to stick your finger in there to turn it. This is a lot better. Like every other gun in the Amoeba line, this isn't the only one. This isn't the only gun by that one particular new uprising company that's in partnership with Ares. They also have they have a ton of other guns you could take a look at. Like all the other guns in that series, this gun does have an electric fire control system, which allows you with an accessory you have to buy separate. Personally, I don't have it, but it's this pretty cool thing that you can get. It's a little box, and what this system allows you to do with a little chip that's inside the gun and this programmable box. Most guns, if you want to throw 3-round burst or anything else, or if you want to make it a locked DMR, you have to do further upgrading. What's great about this gun is it already has the ability to do that out of the box. All you need is this second component. You take this little box, plug it into the back of the gun, plug the other end of the box into your LiPo, and there's selections on the box that allow you to change it from the stock. The way it comes stock is like any M4, safe, semi-full, but with the help of this accessory and what's inside the gun, with just the flick of a switch, you can change it from safe semi-full to, say, safe semi 3-round burst, or safe 3-round burst full auto, or if you were doing a locked DMR with this one, or any other of their, of the guns in the range, you could do a locked safe semi-semi, which is really, really nice, because I know on most big MILSIM events, or some fields just doing big events where you're classifying yourself as a DMR, they won't let you be a DMR unless you have a locked semi-semi gun. Don't know if that's completely true or not. I just know in some of the events that I've played at, they had some people make sure their gun was a locked semi if they were going as a DMR. So if you're playing at a field with a big event that you want to be a DMR, using one of these guns, froze for a bit there, using one of these guns will allow you to do that without any further upgrade. This gun chronos in at around 375 to 400, which is perfect for outdoor play and where I took it. But if you wanted to take this gun indoors, which personally I haven't done, you might have to change out the spring, because I know most fields are a little strict about the 350 rule, nothing over 350, so you might have to change out the spring, but that's no big deal, because this gun does feature a quick change spring system. All you have to do is it's a torque screw, so it's not a regular Phillips head. You're gonna have to stick a torque screw in there, unscrew it, pull out the screw, and then this whole back part comes out, and from there you can take the spring guide out, replace the spring and the spring guide if you wanted to. Ares Amoeba does make replacement upgraded spring guides, so you can put that in there, put the new spring in, and you're all set to go. It's a really quick system, and I really like it. I've used it myself. It's really nice, but I didn't make it permanent because where I take this gun, personally, I didn't really need to change the spring unless I wanted to up the FPS, but that's fine too. To cap off this review, I can safely say that this is one of my favorite airsoft guns that I've used in a long long time. I was so excited when I heard about this gun. I immediately pre-ordered it back in July, got it in my hands in September. I immediately ran off into the field and used it, and I've been using it from about September to November. The last game I played with it in was right before Thanksgiving. It was a week before Thanksgiving. And I can safely say this is one of my favorite airsoft guns I have used in a long time. I know I've said that like 3 times, and I know I'm just probably going to be blabbing off for the rest of this outro, but I cannot sing this gun's praise enough. I love MP5s and the style of MP5s. As you know, I may use those a little more than M4s. I do run M4s, but I'm more of a fan of an MP5. This gun is like the love child of a compact M4 and an MP5A5. It gives me that MP5 shooting style and compact style without the whole M4 crane stock thing. With this, you get a really, really nice MP5 style retractable stock. I'm a huge fan of this gun feels so fine-tuned to me as an operator. It feels so right, and I'm gonna be using this gun for the next few months, and probably well into and well across 2015. I can tell you guys that. This gun is great. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. If you were looking for an M4 that's a little different than everybody else's, or you like MP5s and you want to branch out to something else, I highly recommend you take a look at the Amoeba AM-013. This is an amazing performer. I cannot sing this gun's praise enough. Nobody paid me to do this, I swear to God. The money for this gun came out of my own pocket. I'm singing this gun's praise. And I'm going to stop now because I'm just blabbing on. I will catch you guys in the next video. If you like this video, don't forget to click that like button. And if you want to see more from us, don't forget to subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video. Catch you later.